On Sunday, France will host its centennial commemoration of the end of World War I, and world leaders will gather to remember the Great War. As they do, opportunities abound for side meetings, including the potential of a Trump-Putin chat, which we're watching closely as Russian-American tensions have not only the domestic optics of a post-midterm America to consider, but also Ukraine, Syria, and the general arc of the Washington-Moscow rivalry. That rivalry has been heightened by the American announcement that it will withdraw from the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty agreed to at the end of the Cold War. The withdrawal from that treaty has sparked worry of a new nuclear arms race, and in Paris, the leaders of the world's two greatest nuclear powers will have yet another opportunity to meet face-to-face. On top of that, Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu may also meet with President Putin, as Israel now rethinks its anti-Iran strategy in Syria after the accidental shoot-down of a Russian aircraft. They would have plenty to talk about. In the Asia-Pacific region, the ASEAN gathering will overlap with an American regional tour to tout trade and give us some insight in how President Trump's trade agenda is doing in the region. From November 11th to November 15th, 19 heads of state will gather in Singapore, giving opportunities for plenty of side meetings to advance regional agendas, including a potential Abe-Putin meeting. The Australians will also have a chance to try to hash out their differences with Indonesia, strained after Australia said it was considering a move of its embassy to Jerusalem in Israel, a decision that angers Muslim-majority Indonesia. Meanwhile, the U.S. Vice President Mike Pence will tour the region too, at times alongside U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton. In the Middle East and Israel, we're watching the Jerusalem mayoral runoff, which isn't so important for Israeli national politics, but may give us some insight into whether or not Netanyahu's coalition partners can get along well enough to back a single candidate. If they can, that bodes well for a compromise on an army draft bill that would see the ultra-Orthodox community subject to the army's conscription laws. They have until December 2nd, and if they miss the deadline, it will mean all Orthodox will face the draft and presage unrest and even the potential collapse of the Israeli government. Finally, in Africa, the UN Security Council will vote on November 14th whether to remove sanctions on Eritrea. The vote comes after a surprise shift in U.S. policy on the sanctions, which previously held that Asmara would need to show improvement on human rights first. But as the dynamics in the Horn of Africa region continue to shift, the U.S. might be willing to overlook such issues, in order to avoid being left behind, especially as China is already enjoying investment returns throughout the Horn of Africa.